Howdy, I'm Zane Din. I'm our Director of Customer Acquisition at Tecovas. So Tecovas sells Western boots as well as Western apparel and accessories. I oversee our paid marketing that includes digital and offline marketing channels. During the pandemic, we've really focused on community engagement and what we kind of say is hugging our customers. We have two Facebook groups. One of them is a larger community that was actually started by a super fan, and some of our brand loyalists lead that group. And then we also have a community that's a private group, which is composed of our highest LTV customers. And employees throughout Tecovas are engaging with these folks several times a day through these communities. And it's just been a great way to stay in touch with consumers, get a pulse on kind of what's happening, what's impactful for them. And we get a lot of enjoyment out of engaging with them through that medium. The majority of the content is folks kind of showing off what they're wearing for the day. They've kind of started their own movements. For instance, we sell full quill ostrich boots. So Friday is full quill Friday. So it's all these people sharing pictures of themselves wearing their full quill boots. A lot of it is style advice. Some of it is just asking for recommendations on which product they should buy next. What are the differences, positives and negatives of certain leathers and certain styles, and a lot of it is just getting feedback on what their next purchase should be. Most complicated, this one's a bit top of mind because I just made it, but it would be Nashville hot fried chicken. I love fried chicken, it's my favorite food. And with Nashville hot fried chicken, I double fry it, get it nice and juicy, but a nice crisp. And then the second component outside of just cooking it is coming out with the Nashville sauce to put on top. So there's a lot of components that go into that dish, and it's one of my favorites. Once the pandemic really took effect and we started to see an impact to sales, the decision we made was let's still capture the lowest hanging fruit. So what that entailed was essentially, let's maximize our impression share on paid search still. If folks are seeking out our category, they still have high intent to purchase. Likewise, we've continued to push on Western enthusiasts, as well as continuing to push on proven publishers. So, if we know that something has worked in the past and we're seeing signals that there's still strength in our ROI from those mediums, we've kind of sustained a level of investment there throughout the pandemic. I'd say the biggest change we made was intentionally avoiding any media buys that require long-term commitments. So an example of that would be scaling back on radio. A lot of radio personalities require that you commit to them for 6 months out, 9 months, 12 months, and we rarely try to avoid those types of deals or negotiate contingency plans so that we have flexibility to pivot if our business requires it. So I have a French Bulldog. He's a small guy. His name is Chainz. So he's actually named after Chainz, the rapper. I was watching Chainz's show on Vice where he was actually showcasing some French Bulldogs right around the time I was about to purchase Chainz. So that influenced his name. Our focus for paid search is continuing to tackle the lowest hanging fruit. We focused a lot on list building still throughout the pandemic. It's kind of interesting because our lowest point in the year is typically late spring into summer, just because folks don't really want to wear boots when it's hot out. And that coincided with the peak of the pandemic as well. And really, you know, we took a similar approach to what we've done in prior years when we hit slow periods in our business. And that is, you know, still continue to build our email list. So those folks aren't interested in purchasing yet, but let's foster them and warm them up and get them to purchase when the time feels right, which is normally Q4. So that was kind of a big focus for us. And, you know, coming into the fall and winter months now, we'll start to harvest some of that list building activity. My favorite t-shirt is probably one from Filson. They did a specialty line with Smokey the Bear. So it's just a camp shirt that has Smokey the Bear covered all over it, doing a variety of outdoor activities. And I love that shirt. It gets a lot of comments. I think in this environment, it can be really overwhelming to be a marketer, right? It's so difficult to forecast with so many unknowns occurring. You know, you have to pivot so much from a media standpoint. So really, the first step, I think for me from a planning standpoint was, let's outline what is predictable. What do we know with great certainty? For example, we'll be launching some new products in the coming months that I know are going to be home runs. So let's kind of eliminate our focus from the things that we feel confident in. And then let's allocate our resources on the less predictable things, the unknown things. Likewise, we have products that we'll be launching that are a pretty big deviation from what we've done in the past. So those to me are more unknown. That's where I want to allocate my team resources towards to solve for problems around that. And also build contingency plans. You know, did we get an inaccurate read on those things? If so, how can we quickly mobilize to squeeze out the performance that we need out of those components? And then I think the communication with our partners is key, right? Like partners like Taboola have a greater pulse on what's happening within the marketplace because y'all are composing inputs from so many businesses. So I think this year we're going to be leaning in on our partners more than we ever have because of the value that they can bring. In my office, I actually have a daybed, very basic, but I love it. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't have in their homes, and I highly recommend it for any office space. It's just a cozy and welcoming environment, and especially with working 100% remote right now with our office being closed, it's nice to just be able to step away from the desk a little bit, put your feet up, and just, you know, take some time to recalibrate and work from that space. It helps me a lot. Thank you.